Hello and welcome to Unit 4 in our Latin American Studies class. In this unit, we'll be thinking about the long legacies of issues of race, class, and gender in Latin America. We'll be thinking pretty broadly, but we'll also have some specific lenses through which we will view these things. I chose this unit to discuss this topic because it coincides with El Día de los Muertos. And so that's what we'll start with this first week. We'll be thinking about how the celebrations of El Día de los Muertos have transformed from their pre-Columbian times in Mesoamerica, how the colonization impacted those things, how race and gender also play a role in the ways in which Día de los Muertos is celebrated in Mexico, the United States, and other parts of Latin America today. So hopefully that'll be kind of a fun lens that we can consider issues such as transculturation and syncretism through. And you'll find out what those things mean as you work through the course materials for this unit. So the first week will be focused on Día de los Muertos pretty solidly. You'll be working on defining transculturation, syncretism, hybridity, and those kinds of terms, and thinking about how those things actually manifest in Latin American societies. During the second part of the unit, you'll have another set of materials that will more directly address issues of race and gender in Latin America. So I'll be recording a slideshow once again that will talk about those topics. We'll also listen to a podcast. It's called the Rough Translation Podcast through NPR. And what it does, or what its goal is to take questions or conversations about issues that are current in the United States and ask them in other parts of the world to see how other people in other countries are dealing with similar things that are controversial here. So the podcast deals with the issue of affirmative action in Brazil, and it helps us think about how Brazilians, in a nation that has a deep legacy of slavery, much like the United States, how they deal with those legacies in their common day-to-day lives, how they think about themselves in terms of race, and how they relate to each other through a lens of race as well. So we'll see that their conception of race is a bit different than ours, even though they have some similarities in terms of their history with the institution of slavery. You'll also read a short story from Isabel Allende. She was the niece of the deposed and killed or committed suicide, depending on how you look at it, President of Chile, Salvador Allende. He was deposed in the CIA-backed coup that brought Pinochet to power in 1973. She's a writer. She's written a lot of both fiction and nonfiction. This short story is fictional, but it provides an interesting lens on thinking about gender norms, issues of machismo, but also ways in which Latin American women have challenged their cultures of machismo. So that's where we're going in terms of the materials that we'll be covering over the next couple of weeks. The first week requires some reading tweets and a discussion on Slack. The second week, you'll also do reading tweets. So for this unit, you'll do 2 different sets of 15 tweets. And instead of doing a Slack discussion, though, for the second set of materials, you'll do another blog post by the end of the unit. So if you have any questions about any of that, please let me know. I look forward to delving into these issues with you over the next couple of weeks.